Hello and welcome back to Game 2 in the quarterfinals of the Sorcery Season 1 Discord League. My name is Jesse Muehlman-Marshall and it's very good to be here with Game 2, and we're up one game, so we managed to get there in an absolute nail-biter against Nathaniel in Game 1. Super close game, and now we're going to be on the draw. So we have actually a very good hand, I think, for being on the draw. We've got a tower, which is going to let us go into the Amethyst Core and then Spectral Stalker on turn 1. So we get to play 2 cards on turn 1. Pretty amazing. And then the following turn, we're going to be able to play the other tower to play the Hearst Eagle if we wish, or even play the Free City and still play the Hearst Eagle because we'll have the core down. So that's a pretty sweet start for us. We'll see if Nathaniel has an equally good start. So almost a Cloud City, but opting instead for a tower, which is always a good choice on turn 1. It is sometimes nice to have the Cloud City on turn 1 because then your Battlemage can run away on the Cloud City if they want to. But I think that's more of a maneuver that you, or not just run away, you can run forward on it as well. But that's more of a maneuver that you pull out if you don't have a tower, I think. Because you can also just play the Cloud City one site forward. It doesn't give you the mobility, but I think there are probably enough mobility spells in the build at the moment that you don't really need to rely on Cloud City for that propulsion forward for free. So Nathaniel starts off with the Spectral Stalker, and I go Amethyst Core Stalker, but I've played my Stalker on my site. So a bit more of a defensive play here, and this is just playing into that idea that if I'm on the draw, I want to be able to accumulate some extra cards, ideally, from the Battlemage killing units, whilst also having the time to be able to use those extra cards. Nathaniel comes in with a Cloud City and then a Men of Leng on the Cloud City. So this is a super good, very strong, very aggressive start, because I'm now threatened by perhaps if Nathaniel can get to the third win threshold next turn, third air threshold next turn, being able to move that Cloud City up and then strike my Battlemage, which would be pretty strong, getting that Men of Leng right across the middle of the board and hitting the Battlemage. So I untap the Battlemage, draw a Phase Assassin. So I've now got the choice of Hearst Eagle or Phase Assassin, and this is just one of those moments where everything comes together nicely. So I can actually play my Free City under the Spectral Stalker, attack the Spectral Stalker with the Free City, and then play a Phase Assassin over on the other side of the board. So I get to do a very powerful defensive play, like a removal spell effectively with my sight, and then still get in with my Phase Assassin over onto the other side of the board and have an aggressive play as well. So down goes the Free City, eats the Phase Assassin, eats the Spectral Stalker, and then Phase Assassin is going to go on the other side of the board. Alright, so Phase Assassin goes down, and I've opted actually not to play it on the other side of the board, opted to play it in between so that if Nathaniel does move that Cloud City down, I'll still be able to defend with both the Spectral Stalker and the Phase Assassin, just to make it that little bit harder for the Men of Leng to connect this turn. Because I do kind of want to hold on to that Hearst Eagle and teleport, and if I do tap to play a site next turn, let's say I'll get up to 2, 3, 4, 5 mana, so I'll be able to play both of the spells, which is kind of good. Even if I don't, I have to tap to play a site next turn to do that, so I'll be teleporting a Battlemage that's already tapped. And that's actually pretty good if I'm getting to teleport and get a minion down, a relevant minion in Hearst Eagle. So at this point, I'm feeling pretty good about the defensive setup as well as the options we have to try and get a bit of damage in. But Men of Leng on the board, if you haven't answered them, which I haven't at this point, is always dangerous because Nathaniel still has the option to grapple past my Phase Assassin and hit my Battlemage just by moving up that Cloud City. So Nathaniel thinking about where to place this Mirror Realm, a very powerful site for those of you who are going to be opening and cracking some boosters of sorcery and looking to pick up uniques. I think both Cloud City and Mirror Realm are going to be two awesome uniques to open because Mirror Realm goes in any deck and just is supremely flexible and powerful, as we can see here. So Nathaniel's able to copy, it's any nearby site, so it's any of the 8 sites around the Mirror Realm, even on the diagonals, and copying the Free City here is a very powerful play. It means that my Battlemage and my Stalker are now stuck behind an enemy Free City, and I can't easily free them up and get them out. Unfortunately for Nathaniel, that Free City not going to be able to strike the Phase Assassin because the Phase Assassin does have stealth, but still a powerful play nonetheless. So, looks like Nathaniel going to get in there with the Men of Leng, moving up onto the free city. So no attacks yet, and at this point I'm just sitting there going, oh, please don't grapple shot, I don't want to lose one of these cards in my hand. But I'm feeling okay given that I've got 2 minions out, and I'm still on 20 HP, and I've got essentially a card advantage of at least 1, I think, here. So I've got a Spectral Stalker comes down next to my Battlemage, and then I've got to try and figure out my way out of this little trap that has been laid with this free city. So it looks like Nathaniel deciding instead to actually move that Spectral Stalker onto the Cloud City instead, so a bit more of a defensive play from Nathaniel, which makes sense there. I think that Spectral Stalker wasn't doing a huge amount next to the Battlemage, and if I did happen to have another free city, if I just got to eat another Spectral Stalker, it would be terrible. Like, losing 2 cards in that way would have just been so awful, whereas at least this Spectral Stalker, at a minimum, is going to gain Nathaniel 3 life when my Phase Assassin has to attack it or it defends the site that it's on. So a draw of a Gaia Hippogriffs there is a good draw. I've now got 2 options. I can spend my existing 3 mana playing a Hearst Eagle and get in with my Battlemage, or I can play the site and play both Teleport and Hearst Eagle, or I can play the site and play Gaia Hippogriffs. Alright, so it looks like we're opting to attack in with the Phase Assassin onto the Spectral Stalker. So 3 damage in there. Then having a think about the best way to get out of this trap. So do we want to play the site and have a tapped Battlemage teleport? And I think we probably do, given that Men of Leng is such a big threat. Just having it on the site next to your avatar is quite nerve-wracking, and having it on the site next to your avatar on top of a free city is even worse. So even though it's not the greatest in terms of efficiency to go ahead teleporting a tapped Battlemage, we are going to teleport that Battlemage over onto Nathaniel's side of the board, tap it, play the Lone Tower, go up to 5 mana. We've spent 2, so we'll spend the last 3 playing a Hearst Eagle, which is very nice because it can attack on the diagonal too, so it can actually get past the free city, which is a really key thing here. Being able to attack from site 12 to site 8 there, across into the middle of the board, assuming that Nathaniel isn't able to move the Cloud City away, that is. But then if Nathaniel does move the Cloud City away, that means that they're not using their Battlemage to attack the Phase Assassin or my Battlemage. Not that attacking my Battlemage would be particularly good, but it just means they're basically committed and locked into using their Battlemage for a site if they want to be able to move the Cloud City, because they're only at 2 air threshold at the moment. So Nathaniel goes ahead and attacks with their Battlemage onto the Phase Assassin. Boom, down goes the Phase Assassin. Nathaniel takes 3 though, so that's an important trade for me. Starting to get a bit of damage in. But it was hard for Nathaniel there because I've started the turn with 3 minions on the board. Nathaniel's only got 1 minion and the Battlemage, and my Battlemage is on Nathaniel's home square. So things are starting to get a little bit dicey in terms of the race. Like, I'm going to start getting ahead pretty soon if Nathaniel doesn't answer my minions. So they've answered 1. The question is, what are they going to do about these other 2? So they haven't spent any mana yet, but they do only have 3 available. But that's enough for Hearst Eagle, Grapple Shot, another Stalker, another Men of Leng, a Lightning Bolt, a Chain Lightning, all of which are, solid plays here. Chain Lightning probably less so, because Nathaniel's not nearby to my Spectral Stalker, so I can't quite finish that off, and Chain Lightning's not strong enough to kill the Hearst Eagle. So Free City putting in heaps of work here, making me amend my plans significantly, and on my side of the board, eating up a Spectral Stalker for free was massive early. So the Men of Leng coming in and trading with the Spectral Stalker. So Men of Leng attacks off the free city, hits the Spectral Stalker, and they trade with each other. And then a blink just for a cycle here, I think. Putting the Battlemage forward onto the free city. Nice, well-defended place to be. And also drawing Nathaniel a card. But crucially not adding to the board. So a bit of a tempo advantage for me there, even though Nathaniel does get that mobility, similar to what Nathaniel gained on me last turn, you know, the tempo advantage of me spending the teleport, not adding to the board, and having to tap my Battlemage just to play the site. Nathaniel also having to move a tapped Battlemage forward with the blink, so not getting the immediate damage. And I'm able to get in there with the Hearst Eagle. So Hearst Eagle gets in for 3. And then Battlemage gets in for another 3, putting Nathaniel down to 11. And then I've got a Gaia Hippogriffs or a Spectral Stalker. And we've got 4 mana available, so why not jam the Hippogriffs? And they've also, thankfully, got Airborne, so they're able to get in on the diagonal and hit in for another 3. So that's a pretty massive turn, like 9 damage for me, getting 2 very versatile mobile minions onto the board, both 3 power, and threatening lethal next turn. So things looking pretty dire for Nathaniel here, especially at only 3 mana, having to be a pretty powerful comeback here if they're going to get back into this game. Tapping to play a site. Unfortunately for Nathaniel, it's a lone tower, which they already have, so they're only going to go up to 4 mana. And they're going to play a Phase Assassin, which is going to be able to defend a bit of the damage. So the defensive play of the Phase Assassin here is going to prevent them from going to Death's Door this turn, unless I can find another way to do damage. And then moving the Cloud City away. So that third air threshold, I mean, the free city has been great for them, but it has also denied them the ability to move the Cloud City up until now. So that is kind of, I guess, the downside, even in a monocolor deck. If you're only playing so few sites out each game, sometimes you can miss out on that third threshold if you do have things like free city in your deck. And I find that sometimes when I play this deck with Browse, struggle to get to the third threshold. And in this instance, that Cloud City only now becoming active quite late in the game because the free city was Nathaniel's third site, and it doesn't have that air threshold. So here, opting to move the Cloud City before playing the Phase Assassin, no worries. Phase Assassin going down there. So we'll untap the Battlemage, untap the Hippogriffs, the Hearst Eagle, draw a Grapple Shot, which is a nice draw here. Not particularly useful when the Cloud City's just flown away from the middle of the map. I can't actually grapple this turn, but that's not too much of a worry because I do know that I'll be able to replay a site or replay a couple of sites in order to get to that spot at some point. It's interesting though with the way the sites are deployed at the moment. My Battlemage is a little bit stranded and I can't actually play out more sites because the Cloud City's blocked me off where it is here. So I can't play onto site to Void 8 because it's not adjacent to one of my existing sites. So I would have to go to like 19, 20, then 15, then 10, and then around that way in order to be even able to fill up Void 8. So it's a bit of an interesting situation here, actually. That Grapple Shot could get stranded in my hand depending on what happens. So I drop a Spectral Stalker, drop that next to the Battlemage. So it's not threatening lethal next turn because the Battlemage is on a free city. Oh, it was, and then it accidentally got drawn into hand. But yes, with that Battlemage on a free city, the Spectral Stalker is actually not going to be able to deal the death blow here. But it will be able to attack and get Nathaniel down to Death's Door, assuming that Cloud City doesn't fly away. So away goes Cloud City. Gets on its merry way, and then the Battlemage will come in for 3 damage by the looks of things. Try and get a bit of damage on the board. So in comes the Battlemage, and then blinking it back onto the free city to keep it safe. Fair enough, drawing a card, cantripping. So it looks here like Nathaniel hasn't quite had the exact draws that they would have wanted. Had to go with the blink, which is not great in terms of adding to this board the way it is at the moment. But did let them get a bit of damage in and still be on the free city. Because that Cloud City moved away as well, I'm able to actually play a site onto void number 7 now. So the Hearst Eagle going to get in for damage on the home site. Then the Spectral Stalker is going to move across. The Battlemage is going to play a tower. Oh, it looks like I haven't realized. Yeah, I've now realized that void 8 is not adjacent. So I'm actually going to redo my move here, I think. So also void 9 is not adjacent because that's Nathaniel's side. So there I go, finally figure it out. So I'll move the Spectral Stalker the other way instead and then play the Gothic Tower onto void 7. So next turn now, I am going to be able to play into void number 8 because I now have adjacency, which is good. So Battlemage untaps, Nathaniel moves up the Cloud City, and at Death's Door, this is a bit of a dire situation, moving down, getting in for 3 damage, putting me down to 14. Playing a Spectral Stalker as a blocker, which means that now Guy Hippogriffs is not lethal, which is kind of nice. From Nathaniel's perspective, at least covering off on one of those threats. Oh, and accidentally drew rather than untapped the Hearst Eagle. Untapping, there we go. So it looks like no other plays. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a site. Tap to play the Ruins to fill up void 8. And then grapple shot across the board for the win. So the grapple ended up not getting stranded in my hand, thanks to the Cloud City moving around. So there you have it. Thanks for watching. That's the end of game 2 of the finals. So that's the quarterfinal done. Thanks to Nathaniel for being a great opponent. I'll be back with the semi-final match. It'll either be against Ira or Rumpel, 2 of the players in the league. Ira being one of the Eric's Curiosa team, so it'll be great to have a game against Ira, although of course Rumpel, one of our New Zealand neighbours, it'll be great to have a match as well. So good luck to both of them in their quarterfinal, and I'll be back with more semi-final coverage very soon. Cheers.